Okay, so after Big B finally realized that his clock was off, we're live. Woo! We have Brick or Treat here because Thick and Bricks is a fucking flake,
Pussy.
And Brick Revolution, he's busy. He's a drummer.
Pussy.
I get it. Yeah, whatever. Brick Revolution, he's here in spirit.
He's on vacation.
Yeah, and then
what about Cheap Ass?
Cheap Ass is not part of the Hauling and Balling team.
He's part of the Hauling and Balling crew. And he's a pussy.
He's an honorary member of the team and maybe part of the crew, extended crew. I don't know.
It's like the fourth Musketeer.
Okay.
Wow, this drink's
But he's gone too, and he just doesn't like us. That's what it comes down to. He's been on here before, and he learned his lesson.
I think Cheap likes us. I like Cheap.
Yeah, you like a lot of people that don't like you.
He's just afraid you're going to make him do a room tour.
A room tour?
Yeah, that's what he said. And just don't make me do a room tour.
Yes, room tour. I imagine it would be pretty boring. I don't know. I don't see him as the type to have a bunch of stuff out and about, other than maybe like a small collection of stuff displayed. He seems like he's just a bulk flipper. Essentially. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
So, topic of the night is collectors versus hoarders. What are you? What are we? And do you have any? Do you have a favorite hoarder? So we got fucking one viewer. Yay! No idea who the fuck you are. Welcome.
That's me.
Oh, is that you? Shut off your other fucking thing, man.
Standing.
Go down to 0 viewers. I want to see if we get more thumbs down than we do thumbs up.
I'm sure we will. Well, didn't you just reschedule last week's? You kept all the thumbs down.
This is like the fourth reschedule of this one.
But you've kept all the thumbs down throughout all of them.
Oh, yeah. We keep a track record.
Because you just keep the same...
I don't massage my statistics. What's up, DC? Hey, DC, while you're sitting there listening to us yammer on, go to Amazon right now and go look at the Dimensions Fun Packs. You're going to see some sweet deals in there, and then skip over to the Team Packs and look at them.
Yeah, the Team Packs are shit, but there's a couple of the individual character packs for like $3 or $4 that are good deals.
Well, no, because the Portal pack is $15, and that's a good set for a lot of people.
$15. That's not worth it. If you look at
it's normally a $25 set.
If you look at it pragmatically, the Portal set is a glorified polybag.
Oh yeah, definitely. But people want that chick.
I mean, I get it. If you want to play the game, whatever, then it has value.
There's grown ass people. There's grown-ass people who grew up on her. It's like I think it's probably like a Lara Croft type of thing.
What?
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. Like the kids played her in the game. They have a thing for her. Just like people who used to chase after in Tomb Raider, play Tomb Raider and like play the game staring at her ass, because people did.
Did you grow up staring at?
No, I was in the military when the one of them came out, and I'm not familiar with Portal, but I know what happens with hormonal people with video games with female leads.
I remember playing the very first Tomb Raider on a 3DFX Voodoo graphics card that you had to put inline, and it took over your VGA interface, basically. And it was the very first Tomb Raider. I remember playing it on that and being so amazed by the 3D technology of that.
Yeah, see, I was fresh out of college, stationed at Hill, and somebody had the game. And
yeah, now...
I literally watched them sit there and, like, try to angle it to stare at her ass. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Well, what you said made me think about, it's like, before we were on, I was messing around with a virtual reality headset, and I was like watching the stream in virtual reality and in the stream, whatever. So it was neat, but it got me thinking of virtual reality porn. And I haven't actually looked into it yet.
Oh, come on, don't lie.
And I don't have an interest to it. Doesn't make, I mean, I don't have a strong interest in a virtual reality porn.
Right, but you know you want to just see what the fuck it's like.
But
can you swing around and see if the cameraman is filming or is he
well,
not
that's
really
the thing.
paying
I don't do
attention?
the whole 360 video thing. I mean, that's not what I've used it for. But for like the head tracking and being inside 3D environments, it's amazing. So I think about that applied to porn. And if they take that experience and they can convey it to porn, I mean, there's your killer market for virtual reality right now.
I actually was thinking about that way before, too, because you had mentioned the whole thing about how 3D movies were actually really good on your gear.
3D movies are awesome. Like
they sucked. When they first came out, they sucked in the theaters. And this might be one of the first times ever. This is totally off fucking Lego, but when have we ever fucking paid attention to Lego on that other Lego? That the industry may have led fucking technology, and technology may have led the fucking porn industry for the first time in like 20-something years, man. Because porn always sets the pace. Always.
Yeah. So I know there's whole like VR porn sites, and I'm sure there's free VR porn sites and VR porn tube. And
I'm sure you can go to fucking RedTube or fucking YouPorn or.
And they probably have a VR section.
Shangri-La, fuck me.
Hold on, I'm writing it down.
VR porn right now.
But that being said,
don't want to see
it. It's not something that compels me. However, the other applications are amazing. So I forget what we were talking about in the first place. So carry on.
Oh no, but if Ralph's watching, Ralph can tell us because I'm sure Ralph checked it out because he's got that fucking shit.
Is there anyone watching, or are we serious? I think we're serious.
Daniel Clark, he's in the house. Hey, Ralph's chiming in now. He's like, I'm watching fucking porn right now.
Oh, there's one viewer.
I'm still waiting for the scratches.
Three. We got three.
So I've been messing with the Oculus Rift. I like it. I like it better than the Vive. I've played with the Vive before, and the Vive is cool, and the whole room VR motion controller thing is fine. It's not what I wanted at all. But the Oculus Rift is awesome. You can get them now, like next day delivery on Amazon for just MSRP from Amazon. They started actually stocking them finally and not have a backlog. So they're worth it, and they're definitely, as long as you have a system that supports it, that's like truly that whole, if you grew up in the 80s and you saw the whole like late 80s, early 90s VR, right as like VGA graphics were developing and they had all the VR stuff back then, you had these like dreams of what it could be. This far surpasses anything that was even, I would say, dreamed of back then, short of a holodeck. It's really at that level. Is it
better than Lawnmower Man?
Yeah, it's way more than Lawnmower Man. So here's the one caveat. You need to have a system that supports it, so as long as you look at the minimum requirements and you're serious about them, because it will really tax them that much.
Yeah, I'm sure you gotta have.
Even video requires a beefy system that will turn your GPU up. So, and you need very specific interfaces for it with the USB 3.0 and all the other stuff. It's needed. It's not.
I did check it out. There is some free games already available on Steam for VR gear.
There's tons of free VR experiences and games available, and they have an Oculus store.
The artist piece that they have, where you can, you have got to see if you can do a plugin or something like that that's, compatible with a 3D program where you can upload the brick set with that thing. Because you could build using the VR gear if you could substitute in with their tools the brick set. You know what I'm saying?
Here's what I found in using the Vive and using the actual motion controllers, and I know Oculus is coming out with their motion controllers in October or sometime later this year. But with Vive, with their motion controllers and their hand controllers, so you're in that whole experience where you're building in an interactive environment and you're in the whole room scale VR environment. I found that it was, doing the same task manually is a lot harder and takes a lot longer than doing it at a keyboard with a keyboard and mouse. That's what it comes down to, and there's a reason why it's an efficient form of communication, of interfacing. So while it's neat and it's cool, an artist, I would say subjectively, an artist could do the same level of quality at a much faster pace using a mouse or a tablet or whatever workflow they currently had than trying to do it in VR and that whole, doing it manually. It doesn't gain anything in that perspective, in my opinion. Do you know that the Lego Duplo ice cream truck is on sale exclusively for Prime members for $9.29 right now?
Nice, nice. I got out of the Duplo business before I got a lot of Duplo stored in the back, but I'm not going to open it until we do the move.
Yeah.
When I do though, Samuel will be able to build himself a fucking Duplo city.
Oh, well, I am.
Because I've got all that used shit.
He's getting to the point. Actually, I was thinking the other day because he's grabbing stuff. He's teething already, which is insane to even think about. But he's over 2 months now, and he's grabbing at stuff and he's throwing stuff and he's interacting and doing patty cakes, mild patty cake almost, there. So since he's at that point and he's recognizing different colors and stuff spinning and everything, I was thinking about introducing that sort of thing with him. I don't know. It's cool to think about in the past, but now that it's actually here, there's no strong desire to introduce him to such things because it's not an issue. It's not something that he needs to pick up. It's just
he's going to do it on his own. He's going to do it on his own.
Yep, exactly. But I bought him a ton of Duplo already. So much Duplo. So on his first birthday, he'll be good to go.
Yeah, I actually did that with books with the kids. I've been making it a very purposeful thing not to introduce too much brick to them and not to push it on them at all, because longevity matters. I want them to be able to enjoy their job that they are going to be forced to have as child labor as much as possible.
Well, he has tons of books.
No, I just meant that I should actually send you a picture because you will laugh at me of the number of books that Big D got on his first birthday. I mean, it's like a stack that's smaller than him. It was mostly because I enjoy reading bedtime stories so much to them that I also wanted to have a big variety to go and.
I was thinking about it, and we did built-ins for these like book rack in his little reading corner with the fancy boutique, glider, all that kind of stuff. He has a little reading nook with his book rack, and then he has 2 full bookshelves full of books already. He has a lot of books. He's good on books for a long time. I think we went overboard with the books.
It's fun too, man. It's fun too.
Yeah. So
they're books. They're books. So how bad can that be? I mean.
Well, the great part is we can read him a new book every night, and he is good to go for the rest of his life, probably.
There's some really good ones out there that you guys will get from probably friends and family later on that are dick over books. That are ones that, as you read it, it's for the kids to make fun of the reader.
Oh, I think I've already read plenty of those books. They're fun. Some of them, I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. It's because you as the adults say, complete gobbledygook.
Yeah.
Like you say, poop, 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 and the kids just giggle.
So, Brick or Treats?
Yes?
Please, go off, go off.
I'm looking at Dimensions right now.
Oh, are you actually going to buy some Dimensions?
Dude, they're a great deal. I knew you weren't into them, that's why I didn't alert you. Doc went off on them too. Doc and I were sitting there going back and forth with some of the deals. I found a few extras because I pinged them on them. Ralph and my boy, go check out on Amazon. Go check out the Dimension sets, brother.
Yeah, there's some for like $3 and change, and you can buy 3 at a time.
Yeah, it's Cyberman.
Cyberman's a good one. And
so you can get a full
there's a couple of those. Woo is a good deal.
Yeah, Dr. Wu Sensei, Master Wu.
Woo! What's the word? What's the word of the week to drink?
We don't have any words of weeks.
I think it's problem.
There you go. Maybe
Problem.
You should come up with one.
Well, no, I thought because we were gonna go, because we were expecting bot to go off.
Well, we were going to talk about
like
that.
They have a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, so let's talk about this whole thing. We're 15 minutes in. We've gotten over the pussyfooting around. Let's talk about the real crux of the matter here. I was a while back. I was told a story of someone begging, and typically I get all sorts of spam and I just ignore it. But I proactively block people because I just don't want to hear it and I don't want to see it. It's nothing against them. It's just, hey, you're good. So someone told me about this Instagram account, Evan's Family Lego Project, I think, or Evan's Family Lego Project HD. It always reminds me of Evan's Tube or Evan Tube whenever I see it.
That's probably a marketing issue they have.
I proactively blocked it. I never heard anything more from it. I check my Instagram and I see like included in messages in my request queue, but I literally just wipe it out every month anyways. I don't read through my request queue usually. So I do all that, and I keep hearing about the fact that Evan's Family Lego Project, who, given my entire background has been third-party experiences, hearing about them, effectively, they want to build a city, a Lego city, with standard-size Lego city and everything for their, I believe, now 4-year-old daughter who has some physical disabilities. I think it's a bit misguided, but whatever. If that's their thing, then it's therapy for them more so than her. Obviously, it is asking for donations for them, not for her. As long as people understand that, that's cool. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either, if that's what they want to do. So that being said, as long as they're honest about it and openly disclose it, they're not.
Let's get it straight though. You're saying you're good with it if it's donations for the cause.
Hey, if it's donations for them, for their mental health, and because they want to build a Lego city and they want to show it to their 4-year-old disabled daughter, that's cool and all. But it's not like they're building it with her. They're building it for her, is what they describe it. And it's not for her. It's for them. It's like a therapeutic thing for them. And I get it. That's the whole reason why we're into Lego. I don't see any issue with that as long as they're straightforward and honest about the fact that, this is a thing, they're soliciting Lego for them because it's their thing, and they may not be able to afford it, and that's cool,
As donations for their personal use.
Yeah, as long as they're all about that, that's cool. So
almost like a charity type of thing is what it's probably. So what you're saying is this has been presented to you as though it's not an official charity that's all.
Yeah. It's someone just soliciting.
It's a personal charity. It's a personal charity. Yeah.
It's someone going through a tough time. It's no different than a GoFundMe, is what I see it as.
Well, no, he's I believe that from what I've been told, because I don't follow them either. I don't think I have them. I don't think I have them blocked though, but I don't follow them. But what I've been told is that the husband is a police officer. The wife formerly was a police officer. I don't know if she's on disability from the force or anything like that. I don't know what her I know that she's no longer working because of her disability. And then also there's the pictures of the son. I usually try not to pay attention to a lot of it because I do get sent a lot of things about, look at this, oh my God.
So that's the history on it. That's the impression that I've been given of them, and that was all that it was. There was no judgment in that. It was just like, whatever, they're doing their thing. I'm not on social media for that reason, so I'm just gonna proactively block them. That's all it comes
I got my own charity that I'm doing.
Yeah, I do. It's like I'm supporting my own habit.
Well, no, I've asked you about this before, like, because you used to run a charity, like, and I've started one, and like I wanted to know shit about it, and you were like, "Don't wait for paperwork, just fucking go for it," and that felt better than sitting on it. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot better too, and I know Bot also does a lot of charitable work as well. But back to what you were saying.
Yeah, but I never think of it that way. That's the thing. I don't see these causes as charities. I don't see them as organizations that I'm supporting. It's just that I don't want to be sucked into everyone else's drama. That's what it comes down to. YouTube, to me, I'm not here for drama. I troll around and I joke around with people, but realize as soon as I click close on it, I don't think about it any further until I'm back in that situation again, and I'm dicking around with some people I know online, like with Ozzy or whatever. I dick around and chat. That's all I do. Zero attribution to drama or thinking about YouTube outside of the time that I'm interacting with it, though. It just is what it is. It's not that important to me. So that being said, I don't want to, even if someone says that somebody's doing this or that, or there's a notion of drama to it, I'm just going to block it proactively. Usually, if I can, easily. It's like, why not? I'm not here for that. I'm not here to get sucked into your little drama or to get sucked into your sob story. I get it. If I want to hear sob stories, I can hear plenty of them all day long. Yeah, but I don't need new sob stories when I'm sitting here trying to do my own therapy for my own relaxation. That's what I play with Lego for, so I can relax after. That's why I spend so much money on Lego and everything else. It's my hobby, and I relax with it. I don't get sucked into drama and let it dictate my life. So that's why I practically block. That being said, lately I heard that this
that was like a fucking rubric-sized transition, dude.
Yeah. So lately I've heard that this Evans Family, whatever, EvanTube HD, Evans Family Tube HD Lego project. I don't know.
No HD. That's the little kid. That's the child soldier, as I'm told he's called.
Okay, so whoever they are, I heard that they are now planning on selling this brick that they had solicited or get into selling stuff. And it's just comical, and I wanted to hear more, but nobody wants to talk about it, but everyone's talking about it, and it's like, what the fuck? So now here's where you guys come in, and you talk all about what's recently been going on with them in developments, and why it may cross an ethical barrier. Go. I might have to go get another beer too if you.
Yeah. What we need people on here that have been See, I've never been approached, and that's fine. But there's a whole like I don't know. I've heard various words like Rico and Suave brought in, as far as the transactions that happen between when they do these cross-state line teachings. The Walmart thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen pictures of receipts, and they'll tell you how to do it, and now Walmart is changing their policies.
Well, Walmart's changing their policies. They've always been able to. It's not like they had to honor those policies for you or do that. It pisses me off when people do shit like that too. When it's that whole ethics thing. It just is inherently wrong to me. I don't mind being an asshole to someone's face, but when you go about it in a way that's ethically amoral, I get pissed off. I'll do a strip club. It's like it's nothing about morals, the fact that I have a strip club. It's just that it's real. It is what it is. But that stuff just is like reprehensible to me. When I hear people doing shit like that, I get it. You're stealing from a big company, big fucking deal. And I don't really give a shit about Walmart or you stealing from Walmart all day long. It's just not something that I would advertise. It's like if I were to do drugs or smoke pot. It's not something I would be advertising as straight out saying I X, Y, and Z. But it's something where if I did it, I did it. But it's just the way that people advertise and are so proud of it. It's funny. It's like being proud of stealing something minor because that's effectively what you're doing. That's all. I'm entertained by it.
So stealing it and now wanting to put it in a storefront to sell it? What's that?
That sounds like organized crime.
That sounds Rico-ish, Suave-ish. You see what I'm saying?
Being someone who works in financial crimes every day.
But you would think two people that were supposedly police officers would know these things.
Yeah, and would at least be very careful about public perception of those things. And that's just as important, if not more important, than whether or not they're actually doing it.
Unless there was this overwhelming need to be the center of attention by one of the people, and they just couldn't help themselves with posting these pictures, even though there's people that go on there and rip them to shreds.
Oh,
I've seen memes. Dude.
Oh, people
like they are becoming a Lego meme. They have actually already become a Lego. I've seen at least a half a dozen Lego memes of her sitting on the floor and talking about hoarding.
Hey, Ozzy, I'm with you on the whole price on the shelf thing and human errors. It's when you exploit errors that are not human errors and are actually, when there's a big difference there between exploiting a human error and exploiting a local, like, something that, hey, you have this unspoken contractual agreement, sometimes spoken contractual agreement, depending on what country you're in, but this agreement that you have, if you advertise a price, you're going to honor it, even if it's a mistake on your side, you're going to eat that mistake, and then you're going to fix it, so you have your margin on your other items to account for that.
Unless somebody finds the store that is priced at the lowest possible price that it can ever be priced at to sell it, that is set as the standard for all other stores to base their percentages off on, and you start using that zip code in your thing, and it identifies sets where the maximum discount ever would be 90% off, and it automatically gives you 90% off because that's
there is absolutely no way, because intent is the big factor in this too, just from a legal perspective, but there is no way that cannot be construed as fraud. That is just outright fraud. If it was ever tried or tested, there wouldn't even be a court case about it. It would be a settlement, and you would settle it, and you would take care of it, because it's blatantly, it's like black and white fraud.
Right. Especially if you're advising people that
gray area there
to not show the people behind the register what else your phone says. Because if they touch your screen and stuff like that, it'll go to, it'll leave the test cell.
Yeah, and that's the key part, is it's that clear distinction of fraud. When you commit, that is legally and ethically fraud. There's no mistaking that. There's no arguing with that. You can try to justify it otherwise, and everyone that does it seems to try. They justify it elsewise, and they'll argue that it's not fraud, but it's blatant. There's no arguing. It's fact-based. It's black and white.
Unfortunately, though, if a test cell is located in a different state than you, then it suddenly goes to a federal level crime level. And if you're advising people how to do this, and then asking...
Then it's organized crime. That is textbook when you're advising fraud across state lines.
That's where that could also be considered a RICO thing.
Well, when you're consolidating fraud across state lines and then reselling, it's blatant.
Yeah.
Organized crime.
That is what you wanted us to talk about, Bot?
So that's one way. The whole Walmart thing is... I don't know why we were talking about that, but I think you're just trying to trigger me.
Well, I want to know how much is too much. Because if you say you're going to build a city, you got to stop getting
That's a
donations.
good point. That is an excellent point. I've been facing that lately too. You know, I've been tearing stuff down as well just to make more space because I can't justify to myself, and I don't have any quantifiable number or reason or fact for this to quantify it off of, but I can't justify dedicating any more space than this for the city right now. Just because it just doesn't seem this is more than enough space. I can continue to rebuild, and there's so much detail that can be added to it. Now, that being said, I've been looking at new houses, and one of the houses happens to have a finished barn on the property with full air conditioning and an apartment above it. That would be an excellent Lego room, and just so happens that huge, flat, completely concrete slab graded area that the barn sits on, air conditioned, is about 6,000 square feet of just a big square room.
Wow.
Perfect for a huge, I wouldn't even call it a Lego city, it would be just a huge Lego layout.
That's
If
what
I
more.
bought that house, if we go with that house and I end up getting that house and I get the barn in turn, I will utilize the barn for that, and then I might change my justification as to, you know, what I can do with it. But in my current situation, and that's the thing, I can't quantify it. Where is the tipping point? How do you quantify it? What should you do? I mean, is it an income thing? Is if you're spending more than X amount of your income per year, is that where you should draw the line?
When
I
is
mean,
it a hobby and when is it hoarding?
Yeah,
And
when is
when
it
is it?
hoarding? I feel at times I'm
Oh, if it's a
borderline.
hobby, still hoarding.
Yeah, and I feel that I'm hoarding borderline. It's just because I have all these set, the entire behind me, the city beneath it, the entire middle part is like this little cave I can crawl around in the U around, and it's just full of stuffed in there, and they're stuffed into stacked on top of each other to the top of sealed sets and pick-a-brick cups and everything else. Stuff that I need to sort. Basically, that I have a backlog of at least a year sorting to do. And I keep getting lazy and buying from Bricklink the stuff I need when I know it's underneath there. And it's one of those things where at that point I question myself on that, and I don't think it's I need to better balance my hobby.
Well, you also got to figure out what your time's worth.
Well, and I quit buying sets too. I don't buy clearance sets anymore just for the fact I buy some clearance sets that are so obvious that I want the parts and that I wouldn't mind parting them out. I'll buy them, but I factor that in. I won't buy a clearance set even if it's like 75% off if it's a Chima set because I know I will. It's just stupid to part it out. It's those big Chima sets were horrible. They were all dirt cheap.
I'm that way with in Bionic.
Yeah, Bionicle I like. I dump, but I don't subsort Bionicle parts too much. I subsort some of the parts, but a lot of them I dump into a common bin. And I actually like to, you know, pick at the Bionicle bin to like start building mech frames and that sort of thing. It's cool for that. I like to be able to just pick apart. So I'm fine with Bionicle. It's just the old big Chima was always horrible. All old Chima was horrible to part out. To me at least.
And what do you
Oh, the
think?
Chima Big Figs?
All Chima, period. It just I don't know what it is about the parts. Just as someone who builds, as a builder, Chima was just painful to part out. I think it was realizing that 90% of these parts you'd never use.
What about
Well, if you bought Chima, you had half of Wally before it even came out.
I did. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. What was that?
What about the new NyQuil Knights?
Oh, Nexo Knights. So I actually bought a couple of the Nexo Knights. I have a couple sets sitting underneath in my pile, sitting underneath the part out. I like the parts. I like a lot of the parts in the Nexo Knights. The corrugated or the embossed panels, the 1x6x5 blue panels, all the other stuff in there. I like a lot of the Nexo Knights stuff. So I have a lot of those, and I like have the Fortrex.
But it has big
actually
parts
have
in
that
it, too,
built.
right?
Huh?
Don't they have big parts in it as well?
No, that's the thing. Nexonite parts, for the most part, are all buildable parts. They're parts you'd use in city building, I guess. And this is a litmus test for me. Is it's about city building because ultimately that's what I'm going to build for mobs. So
But
that's what I'm looking for parts
but
for.
you build a different kind of city than most people, so
I do, and that could mean that I would be buying completely different parts, but they're
No,
still
no,
aligned as
because
far
no,
as type of
part-wise,
parts.
dude, your city is very much like other people. It's just, it's the some of the greebling, but brick, plate, the rest-wise, it's the same except for the underbelly.
Yeah, other than yeah, exactly. It's the gurgling may be different, but
Just because you use different greebling, that's all.
yeah, ultimately the actual structural elements, I'm still I'm evaluating based on city-based elements, not based on, building statues or building minifigures or whatever out of them.
yeah, I'm still waiting to see the Death Star. It's supposed to be over top your city one of these days.
What was that?
You were going to build the Death Star and put it over top your city.
You know what? I built the Death Star and I immediately parted it. I took it apart because that thing is a piece of shit. I do not like. I'm not a fan of the Death Star for the price. If I was okay, here's the thing: the Death Star was an excellent $400 playset, and if I
Could
was
you
going to
take the
play
Death
with
Star
it,
and part it out and turn it into a modular mall?
Death Star,
Yeah.
you could
Since
probably.
they jokingly it's the Star Wars mall.
So here's the thing about it: it has no window elements that you could use for that with malls, and malls would you would have a lot of open windows in the mall. But other than that, yeah, you could do that. It has enough structural building elements and plates that you could do pretty much anything. And that's just a litmus test as far as you ask mall, but I'm thinking any set of buildings
So
or
you're not
that,
going to run out
I'm
and
all
buy the
for.
reissue with the Disney label slapped on it now, right?
Does it have a Disney printed piece?
Does not have a Disney
No,
piece.
it's going to have Disney on the box,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and I
And
think
it
they
has a
changed.
new hair piece.
It has the new Darth helmet, you know.
I have all the minifigs, actually all of them, even the brick-built minifigs from the Death Star, though. I have those all in one plate, and there you go, collecting. I am collecting all of those on one plate, and they sit on the shelf. And those are something that I will not part out those minifigs. Probably I'll keep those all because it had tons of minifigs, and they had some cool ones, like old school Star Wars ones that I wanted to keep. And those are the only minifigs I think outside of a couple like displays or mock displays that I built for like Disney CMFs, those are the only minifigs that I actually keep together, that I care about keeping together. Plenty of minifigs I'll build when I'm building a set, and I'll just stick them onto a little stand. But I have no qualms about tearing something off of that and just taking it apart.
But you get a set of CMFs every year, do you? I mean,
I
every
do.
time they come
I
out.
buy at least a full set, and then I buy some bags usually. The past two series outside of Disney, I haven't bought extras.
Now,
I've
are
just
you
bought full
are you
sets.
ripping those apart, or are you collecting those?
I've ripped all of them apart already.
So you don't keep a set together for your personal collection.
No, the CMFs Disney. I can say that I have for the Disney because I built Becky a display because she really liked the Disney CMFs. So it has all of the Disney CMFs in a display that has all the different like little scenes for each CMF in it.
The little vignettes, I saw
Yeah,
that.
it's a shadow box basically
Right.
that I built for her with all the CMFs in there. That's a full set that I kept together, and that's something. EvanTube HD. That's
No, it's
what
not.
Ralph says. That's who we've been talking about the entire video. Is EvanTube HD just for?
What's their name, bot?
Evan's Family Project? Evan's Family Lego Project?
I need another beer. You guys continue talking amongst yourselves.
I got a large beverage, so I have no problem with it.
There we go.
Is that a game? So you get a lot more information than I do on this bot. But what do you consider hoarding?
Well, I don't really have a lot of room to talk right now because I haven't been able to part out stuff in a little while because it's just me. But I consider hoarding. I guess when you spend most of your time sitting there parting out and never doing anything after that. I mean, what good is it to part out all these different bricks and colors into big tubs and just stack them and stack them and stack them? What are you doing with it?
Are you talking about me?
Well, no, you have a store. That's different. You're having
We're gonna have a store soon.
If you constantly have people bringing stuff to you, or you're constantly going out and buying, you know, and where are you displaying the stuff that you're buying too? You know, I mean, at some point you have to stop. I mean, I purposely don't go to. I used to go to Walmart, Target, and Toys R Us daily last year on the way home, and you spend a lot of money that way. So I purposely don't go out even when I see stuff on crazy clearance, because most of the time, well, all of my Targets, the soccer moms bought the stuff out at 30%, so you're not going to find anything around.
We have a couple around here that in some neighborhoods that's that way. And then other ones here in North Carolina and other neighborhoods that are very close by but are not in that neighborhood that are completely the polar opposite.
Yeah, now there's a couple that I have to take my carry permit with me when I go shopping, but
we have some of those too in Durham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been hearing about places not to go in Raleigh.
Yeah, well, no, Crabtree, and there's a Lego store where that happened too, but that was horrible. And I joked about it right as that happened. We saw it. We were at what is it? Blistered Pig. It's a barbecue place here in Apex, and they had a TV up with the whole Crabtree Valley Mall shooting, whatever thing, and they had locked it down like there was a mass shooting. And I had joked at the time because it just looked, they had no quantifiable evidence they were presenting. It just looked like it was all hyperbole. That it was probably someone heard someone drop some books in the food court and they mistook it as a gunshot and started screaming and running. And that's exactly what it looks like happened.
There were hostages and everything. Come on.
After a lot of time occupying people's time. And then they didn't even reopen the mall until like later the day after.
That sucks. There's a Lego store that you missed out.
Yeah, there was a Lego store, and actually, well, no, we went afterwards. So Becky went back the other day, and she got me Sangreen for that Lego store.
Do you keep cups in the car?
I do not keep cups in the car because I always use the cups as overflow storage, and I am never short on the need for cups.
So
I always
that
keep
is
my cups.
almost like you're saying you're just buying the cups that are full and putting them directly underneath the storage and never using them.
I do that sometimes.
Because I know that's not how it happens, but that's the way it's coming out.
No, I definitely do it sometimes with some elements. Like with a great element that I've done that with would be 2x2 light blue-gray brick, light blue-gray tiles. That being said, I bought like 12 cups that way. I have one left.
That's a great element to do that with, though.
Yeah, but all of them, I only do that with elements that I think I'll do that. For instance, 1x4 white plates would be a great instance of an element like that. I will absolutely use these next year when I decide to go when I put snow over one area of the city that I do in the rural part.
They're on my pick up a cup every time I'm at the store list.
Yeah, but I grab that, and I have a cup or two of those sitting underneath there. I won't buy more cups, even if they're on the wall again, just because it's not something I want to buy. I have one cup of the 2x2 orange tiles because I have used them. I've absolutely used them over time. It's just it will take me a long time to do them to the point where I'm not going to even take them out of the cup.
Yeah, so are you building Hooters or Hojos?
Huh?
You gonna build a Hooters or a Hojos?
Saying that, Bob. Every single time you say Hojos, nobody knows who the fuck Hojos is, man.
Howard Johnson's, dude.
Yeah,
I know.
I know.
Yeah, I know. I'm not that young.
I have two cases of that.
I know.
I have two.
You made a call back old. The drinks are talking.
So these sets are awesome. We were talking about that before the show.
Ah, yeah, go. Piss people off. So,
like,
Perfect time.
this is a great set. This McFarlane Walking Dead set. So like the RV set. I think I paid like $12 for this thing. It's a fucking awesome set. It doesn't not have the quality standards each piece.
Do you like it better than Lego?
That Lego has. However, what each piece does have is each piece is like a custom piece. They have so many fucking molds they must have done to make this thing. And the amount of painting that went into painting all the pieces is insane. So it may not have the quality standards. However, if you're willing to work around that and shove pieces in at times, they're great sets.
I'm sure
they're pretty amazing
like
designs.
a couple villages in Bangladesh for each set, man.
Yeah, and they're great designs for those sets. And the Mega Blocks Call of Duty ones and World of Warcraft ones. I know Nomar Bricks was showing his World of Warcraft sets. I bought those at like when they were $2 or $3 per set on clearance. I only buy one, but I collect those sets because they're cool sets. I don't have any place to display something like that. Really, I've chosen to do the city, so I don't have stuff to display ad hoc models. Yeah. But if I did, I'd probably build stuff like that. And the Call of Duty sets, I'm not a fan of the video games, either one. I played World of Warcraft, but I'm not a huge person about it. Call of Duty is stupid these days, all the video games, but I like the sets. They have some great designs on the sets. So, yeah, they and they're not Lego, but they're better designs than some Lego sets, to be honest, and they don't have the quality standards of Lego. That's as long as you accept that and you get them adequately priced around that, they're fine to have.
Yeah, and I mentioned before that like if I did not have a storefront, or not storefront, but if I was not a seller and was just strictly a builder, I probably would collect the 2x4 versions that they have because they come out with some amazing derivations of colors that are they're pretty cool, and Lego will never do it because these guys are doing like a color scheme for like one set.
Yeah, they'll do a color scheme, a one-off like combination mix of plastics colors.
And I think Mega Bloks probably has already come close to getting up to where Lego is with elements because they'll do the same thing. They'll do a mold for one set.
Now I bought a bunch of these for $3, and I donate them to the hospital. So
they're awesome for that. I have done that last Christmas and the Christmas before. I have bought a ton. I've collected up. So I have two different sets. I have these that I collect for myself, but I definitely stay on the lookout for like $3 Call of Duty sets, that sort of thing. Those are excellent. I try not to do Call of Duty, but other building block sets in general, Duplo ones too, and even the Mega Bloks big building block ones. It doesn't matter what they are, just the bigger sets that are good for children's hospitals are amazing things to donate and so cheap for the. If you get them on clearance and you watch for the clearance and you buy the knockoff brands, they're not as good as Lego. That being said, when you're talking about a toy, just subjectively against another toy at that price, it's a good toy to give to, like a children's
You're there getting your shit for yourself at super low price.
And it's excellent for just why the children's hospital thing, Lego in general, is excellent for occupational therapy. Just as far as cognitive, being able to work with your hands, and it doesn't matter. They can still enjoy the toys, but the ones that do and that can really benefit from it, and doing them a favor by, providing them.
Let them be a kid. That's the big thing. With all that stuff going on.
So I absolutely endorse and encourage and do so myself, buying a bunch of knockoff Lego brands like Mega Bloks and Connects and everyone else that are good sets that you can find dirt cheap, like when they're on the bottom of the clearance racks, to donate to local children's charities.
Yeah, I got
usually hospitals. Children's hospitals I found work the best with them because they really take, at least around here, we have a ton of them around the triangle where I'm at, like Duke and everywhere, all the children's hospitals. They actually separate out their toys, so they have Mega Bloks bins as opposed to Lego bins.
Wow.
But they separate them out, and they actually use them in like these communal learning rooms, and they have these amazingly advanced children's hospitals that are effectively residence halls for children that are going through the problems, and they have full learning facilities in them, and they use those donated materials a lot. And they know the difference between Lego and Mega Bloks, and they separate them out, but they still appreciate those just as much as Lego donations. And
yeah, I really don't think people talk enough about how you as an AFOL can affect the life of hundreds of kids with just a couple thoughts here and then when you're out finding your own shit, and it's a good thing to chat about, man. Not enough people do it.
Well, when it comes down to it, I buy like one of these sets for myself. I don't build these, to be honest. I've watched reviews on these and stuff and seen what they've been like, and I trust that they're like that when I open them up. But with the Call of Duty, with the Mega Bloks ones, I don't really build them often. If I had a space to stick them in, I would. But I don't plan on building them anytime soon until I move elsewhere. So I'm sort of just hoarding them now. But I only hoard one of each. So the rest of them, I do donate, at least. But it's a good thing to watch out for when you're buying Lego, and even if you don't like this stuff, watch for it being dirt cheap around you, because you'd be amazed with how cheap you can get this crap sometimes. Yeah. You can get the Call of Duty, like those Call of Duty Mega Bloks sets. I got them here. This one's insane. So this one, I paid $5 for, and they had 8 of them. This is like an insanely, it's not too complicated of a model, but it's one of their collector series or whatever. It's a great design for a helicopter. It's what I wish Lego would do. Something of that type of design, more so than the piece. You can replicate it with Lego parts for the most part. But yeah, you can get them dirt cheap. Be on the lookout for it. It's good stuff.
Another thing I do is I try to get my Jeffrey dollars up to 5,000 points is the max, so that's like $200. So I usually will donate that to the Toys for Tots, and not the Marines or whoever. Just pick the stuff out that they want.
Yeah, I used to coordinate a toy drive for Toys for Tots down in San Diego when I lived down there, and we would go through Toys R Us, actually, is who we went through, but we'd always end up before the toy drive happened with at least $20,000 to $40,000 worth of cash donations that people specifically wanted to basically have toys purchased with. So we go through at nighttime after Toys R Us closed. We'd work out with a manager to come in, and we'd fill up cart after cart after cart after cart of toys.
How would you just?
It's amazing. It's amazing what you can buy when you're buying on a budget, and you're buying toys like with being thought, price conscious, and you have an enormous budget like that. You fill up a complete box truck with toys many times over.
So someone in the chat is saying that I just saw that someone is saying that they have a source at the Lego store, local Lego store, who says that the death pictures we are seeing are fakes.
So I am saying that your source whoever's saying that they have the source at the Lego store, whoever that source is, if they're actually saying that, is full of shit and they don't know what they're talking about.
Who posted the pictures? Was it on Eurobricks?
It's been on everywhere so far. But the key thing is Lego has not done anything about it, and every time that a fake picture has been posted and it's gotten the sort of publicity that this has gotten, they have shot it down so quickly. They're accepting it is what it is. And it makes sense that they would do it this way too. And the big differentiator in that set is looking at the hair on the Admiral or the Grand Moff using the Doctor Who hairpiece. It's that level of detail. When they're showing that level of detail and you see those differences all over the set, that's not something that you Photoshop together. So it's I don't know. I'd be hard pressed to believe an employee and realize Lego store employees are fucking retail employees that
their
have
sources
no
full
special
of
knowledge.
shit and they're a chump for believing them.
Well, no, I'm just saying, Lego Store employees have no special knowledge of Lego beyond you. Usually you're more knowledgeable than Lego Store employees just because you read more than them. Some of them are Lego fanatics as well, and they will be knowledgeable about it, but it's because they are knowledgeable as a hobby. It's not because they work there. As working there, they're retail employees, and that's their job, and that's what they're trained around. They're trained as retail salespeople, and they're not expected to be fanatical about the product they're selling. They're expected to be able to, display the confidence of that fanaticism that Lego has towards the brand. But personally, that's not a requirement of the job.
And some of them are just, soccer moms
and,
that wanna seem cool for their kid.
Well, and that's what happens when you, unfortunately, I was going to get to that, is that when you have people in that situation where others retail and they don't understand and they're not real big fanatics of it, sometimes they tend to inflate things beyond reasonable claims because they don't understand. And they haven't looked into how valid that source may be. But if you look at the picture, I completely believe it, and they've changed a lot of things about it. If you looked at it and you built the old one, or you could just compare it against the old one, they've changed a lot. But they're small changes, and they're changes that make a lot of sense. They've raised the price too, I think, right? It's not $400
So
anymore?
I'm not going to show a picture of it because I think that the viewer is correct, and I don't want to have a ding on the stream.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's not that I'm lazy and I don't want to go find the picture.
No, so what's the price that's reported to that's been leaked? Wasn't it like 500 as opposed to 400?
I thought it was like 459 maybe.
Or 450? It was more than 400 basically.
Yeah,
It was
it
a
was
price raise.
459. But
And I think the box had like 1 or 2 extra minifigures on it. So that may factor into it.
Does it make sense?
Everything made sense about that with the piece count, with the changes they made, having built the old one and looking at it, it looks a lot like the old one. It is structurally it's exact like the old one. However, detail-wise, gribbling, it's very different than the old one. Gribbling-wise, the prints on the panels are different. The prints on just all around, look at everything. It's different. And it makes sense why it would, because they're using current, modern elements. They had a lot of stickers that made no sense in the original Death Star that they should have just
used. Death
used
Star? The last one?
printed panels for. I think it was 2009 or 2008 that it was first released. It was one of the longest running sets that Lego had. Because all the minifigs in there are the old versions of the minifigs. Which is cool from a collector who got into it late. I bought the Death Star and I have all the minifigs and I have all the old Star Wars minifigs as a result. Or style.
well, they come out with a new Millennium Falcon every couple of years, right?
Yeah, and they changed like the hairstyles or the prints of the torsos or whatever on all the figures every time. I don't know.
But like
I think
Zany
the
was
Death Star
saying about Rhino earlier, it's based upon the movie. So the new the new Millennium Falcon that's out is based upon Episode 7.
Yeah, and I think that's great. It's based on that.
I'm down with that. But I still think that Rhino did suck.
The Rhino is excellent if you evaluate it based on the movie.
Big Rhino.
So the Rhino we're talking about, and that was before the show started, I believe, that we were discussing that, but there's a Sandman versus Rhino, or Sandman and Rhino versus Spider-Man set that was in last wave of Marvel. And it's based on the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie. The one with the one with the kid in it. The most sort of
Not
most
the latest kid.
not
the
the latest
kid before
kid.
this one.
Anyways, the Garfield kid. So it had Rhino in it, and the Rhino that was in the set was amazingly accurate. With the brick-built Rhino, it was amazingly accurate based on the movie.
The movie, yes.
Yeah, based on the comic book, not at all. But based on the movie, amazingly accurate. It was an excellent, like, brick-built big fig or mech to the minifig, and the minifig was excellent too, with the stains all over the shirt, the wife beater underneath it, and then the straps over that to hold the harness in. Everything about that was amazingly accurate.
To the movie, good, but I still want Big Fig Rhino.
No, I get it. And they did that too. They're doing that actually. They're setting precedents for having different versions of a character with Killer Croc. Because they're releasing a Killer Croc right now, and they have a polybag imprint that they're doing right now with promotionals for a minifig scale Killer Croc. But they have the big fig scale one in other sets, and they did the same thing.
But they did that with Hulk too. So
yeah, they did that with Hulk too, and they're continuing to do with Hulk. So they have a precedence at least set that they can do multiple versions of a fig. So you might still have a big fig Rhino that's based on the comic book, as long as they do a comic book set that features Rhino. And that's a big thing. They don't have any strong comic book storylines that they want to do sets out of, probably, that will feature him these days. If they do, then they'll probably come up with one, just like they did with Killer Croc. That's because the Killer Croc in the minifig form is, I believe, from like the Suicide Squad type movie one.
Yeah.
And
based
in
upon
the
the
big
movie.
form, it's absolutely from the comic, because that set's a comic book set.
I haven't seen the newest Suicide Squad.
Anyways, it's fucking 1:01 a.m. Fuck you all. I'm gonna turn this shit off.
I'm waiting. Flip it off.
No.